Sorry. Those are the mini trucks. We are obviously here at the circuit in Zolder to see the giant trucks on track. Merci beaucoup. Comment s'appelle-vous?
Sébastien.
Sébastien, the truck driver, the mini truck driver. Thank you very much. He's been waiting here for us like 4 minutes. We see the truck of Randy Reinhardt here passing by and a lot of more action, mini action. This is it at the Grand Prix here at Belgium in Zolder, nearby Hasselt. As you can see, the rain stopped. It's really nice to see some mini trees we've got already here. Look at this. This is love for the detail right now. And also, we do have love for the detail of our racing trucks. But due to one Ford still on the track, we have a slightly delay of maybe 10 minutes. But please join us. Just relax and have a look at this atmosphere. Come on over here. I mean, I'm feeling like on a playground right now. All the mini trucks are over here. There's some Mercedes over there. There's, as you can see, the Scania. And yes, lots of fun. But to be honest, more for the grown-ups here. So yeah, that's really fun to see. But of course, we are looking forward to see race number 2 with a reverse grid. And it's Andre Kursim who will take place on pole position since he ended up on P8 after race number 1. So, but I know one person who would love to be here right now. And this is Chaz Drakert. And of course, Joachim Eberts, our German commentator. I think he would be playing along with us.
Absolutely, I would love to be down there right now. I was mentioning earlier that I follow a lot of the remote control sort of miniature community over social media and all sorts. Hello everybody, massive nerd Chaz Drakert here in the commentary box, back at home actually in the UK, commentating remotely this weekend for the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship from Zolder. I'm so excited though by all of what's going on this weekend. We've had amazing conditions throughout the whole thing so far. Rain, then no rain, a drying track. It's been absolutely awesome stuff. 16 corners here at Zolder on a very narrow and very challenging circuit. The drivers have no rest here whatsoever, and the corners come at them thick and fast. It's not quite as flowing as somewhere like Most, where we were last week. However, it's still a very long and narrow circuit when you look at it on a map like that. You know, the paddock and the infield is very compressed and very small. Everything here at Zolder feels very close quarters. It's a very unique circuit as well, a very old circuit as well, and it's just a great place to go racing. Trucks aren't the first thing that you'd think of, though, when you think of Zolder, to be honest with you. It's a relatively small venue, but these trucks, of course, massive 5-ton racing machines. However, the first race of the weekend certainly showed that no matter what, they can still get around here nice and cleanly and have a lot of fun. We were worried about potential red flags or any incidents in that first race, but everyone kept it clean and everyone did a wonderful job. And we're so proud of our drivers and our teams for giving us great entertainment without any incident and with a nice run through as scheduled to the end. So you can see the downhill start finish straight. If you look at the garages on the left-hand side, you can see that they are all staggered downwards like a load of steps. You can even see that the pit lane sort of moves downwards in steps as well, where the tarmac is. You can hear all of the atmosphere and the music going on in the background. And we have an exciting race ahead of us, I can tell you that, because the top 8 finishers from the first race get reversed on the grid. And here it is now. Andre Kursim on pole position alongside Jochen Hahn. Surely he's one of the favourites to win this race. It's an Iveco 1-2 on the front row of the grid. Second row is going to be another 2 absolute stars. We're going to have Jamie Anderson and Teo Calve side by side, the 2 drivers that are fighting at the moment for the top spots in the Promoters' Cup. We then have Antonio Alberthetti and Adam Lachko. They were stuck together during that first race for 3rd and 4th. They're going to be stuck together again during this one. I can bet that. Norbert Kish next up, 7th place, alongside Sasha Lenz, race 1 winner. Fantastic job by Sasha in that opening race. It's the first time this season that Norbert Kish hasn't won race 1 on a weekend. Stefan Faas will start in 9th place. He's going to be trying hard to defend from Shane Brayton, who is putting pressure on all the way through. He was also under pressure as well from the young gun, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. The 23-year-old joins us this weekend. Steffi Halm joins him on row 6 of the grid. Steffi will certainly be hoping for much better results in the third and fourth races of the day if this one doesn't go to plan either. Back row of the grid, we have Heinrich Clemens Hecker and Jonathan Andre, trucks 25 and 66 making up row 7. The two of them just trying to score more and more points in their respective classes when the championship progresses to the next race. And Christina is back down there in the paddock for another look at what's going on for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just having fun here, to be honest. It's really nice to see everyone around here. Some little small games. This is kind of a cycling game over here. So you can see all those 3 kids there on some bicycles. Hello, you're waving. Truck racing is cool.
Yeah.
What do you like most?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, he loves trucks racing, obviously. So my Dutch is not so really good. But let's have a look at this small race. Who will be competing fast there? You know, it's also children power over here. Very fun to see. And on the other hand, there's something for a little masquerade over here. So this is where you can get your face painted. I've mentioned it earlier, I think ahead of the qualifying. I missed that, and I think I will still be missing that because I'm afraid to be ending with a butterfly on my nose, maybe. But it's really fun to see. You know, here in Belgium, they're doing lots of things at the Truck Grand Prix for the children, and everyone is having such a good time. You hear, and it's just not the smell of rubber chairs, it's also the smell of good Belgian fries. That's a good idea.
Yeah, actually, I'm very jealous of that, to be honest with you. And Belgian waffles as well is actually something that I'd kill for right now. I think, to be fair, though, Christina, by the end of the weekend, we should get your face painted, actually. We'll have to see what we can come up with. I'm sure between me and EB, we can come up with some sort of design that somebody could try. But there we have all of our grid girls on the grid, ready to welcome the trucks. And we have our Iveco S-Way Pace truck and our Ford F-Max official truck at the very front as well, ready to lead them away around inspection laps and, of course, our formation lap. I believe down there we can see Barbara and Rudy stood on the front of the grid, ready to overwatch proceedings. Barbara, of course, back doing our social media and all of the communications this weekend. Our wonderful colleague Alice took over for her last weekend and will be taking over again for Le Mans. And then we will have Barbara back for the final round of the season at Jarama. You can see Frank there as well in the white overalls in the bottom right of shot. That is our beloved Frank the Tank. He is our Iveco S-Way Pace truck driver. And trust me, he knows how to drive that boy. The amount of times that he's flung it into a corner and made me bang my head on the window is quite impressive, to be honest with you. We had a lot of fun at the Nürburgring during the ADAC International Truck Grand Prix. We've got Ralph Gregor down there with him as well. He's going to be driving our Ford F-Max a little bit later on. And an unsung hero of the entire production as well. We can see him making his way onto the grid now is actually Mike Fow, the absolute star that is. He has to carry that rocket launcher of a camera everywhere with him, bless him. As we go with Lewis as well, Lewis Bogler. He's on the grid with the grid girls. He's got his GoPro out as well. And his massive backpack makes him look like a stormtrooper. But he's certainly enjoying himself and getting amongst all of the action over the course of the weekend. He often puts himself on the front line and gets absolutely drenched during the podium celebrations as well. There you see him, making sure that he gets the wonderful shots with the GoPro. It's great to utilize a GoPro as well on the grid, actually. It's really cool to see. Obviously, many different types of cameras that we use over the course of the weekend. Most notably as well, the Sensata Smart Witness judicial review cameras that all of our trucks have inside them. We managed to basically use them as the name says, judicial review cameras for the stewards, for any officials, any sort of decisions that get made. It means that we have another view of it from their wonderful cameras, and we can see drivers' inputs, we can see exactly what goes on, and of course it helps in the long run when there are decisions that need to be made for incidents, whether anyone's overtaken fairly, or whether anybody has had a penalty marker or something else knocked out of the way. Christina is down there on the grid, though. What can you see, Christina? It's quite an empty grid at the moment.
Yeah, it is an empty grid because the pit exit is not open yet. So, but it will be in 4 minutes, 16:18, the new confirmed time for the new pit exit open. This is what I wanted to tell you. And yes, the teams, they are slightly coming up here, so the grid will get fuller and fuller, but with men and people and the trucks still missing. But please stay tuned with us here on our live broadcast. We're so happy. Give us a feedback, give us a like on our social media channels at the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We're still on Facebook. Yes, we are. We are on Instagram and on Twitter as well. So please check us out over there. And right now, please stay with us. Chess, you must too.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere, don't you worry. I'm going to be sat right here, and I am very excited for the action to get back underway once more. It's going to be around very, very quickly once the pit lane exit opens up and everybody gets back around towards the grid. But that front row is certainly interesting. Two Ivecos on the front row. Andre Kurzim starting on pole position with Jochen Hahn alongside him, and Jochen will be certainly remembering just how well Sasha started the race in that first race and how he got around the outside of Norbert Kisch and then, of course, had the inside for turn 2. He didn't even need to go down the inside at turn 2. He had the lead by the time that they had left the first corner. We're looking at the championship a little bit earlier and discussing who had won which races and when. And as I said before, that's the first time this season that Norbert Kisch has not won the first race of the weekend. It's quite remarkable, really. It just shows how quick he is in the first qualifying session and first race of the entire event. And we have a guest down there on the grid with Christina.
Yes, it's Xavier Martin. He's been telling us something about the Goodyear tires. It was like 2 or 3 races ago, but these conditions, they are so interesting for us because the track is now getting a bit drier. What does that mean for the tires?
Yes, but this morning it was really difficult for the driver. You can see for the qualification it was not so easy for them. But now I think after first race, okay, the tires are a little bit used, but because of the dry conditions, this could be okay. Normally it should be okay, yeah.
They left lots of pressure out of the tires, of course, to keep the grip. What exactly does happen? Why do you need to let the pressure out of the tires in some wet conditions?
Yeah, because you have to have maximum surface to have more grip. If you are a little bit flat, you have more, centimeters square on the ground, and by six rims. So it's more surface to try to keep on the track, not to go only in the gravels.
And what is interesting as well, because Goodyear is retreading the tires as well, so this is very good for the environment, of course. We reuse them. What is happening there?
So every Monday morning after each event, one truck will come and we load the used tires, and this truck go to Germany and for retreatment. Okay, some are destroyed, but majority of the tires went for normal road, for normal trucks, I would say.
So maybe if you're driving on the road, you will have a race tire.
Yeah, of course. It can happen. It can happen, yes. Of course.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Always a pleasure talking to him from Goodyear.
Yeah, and as mentioned before, it's quite exciting the fact that, if you are a truck driver and out there in the industry, then you could eventually, if you use Goodyear tyres, one day end up racing on a set of tyres that was an ex-racing set of tyres that you see on our trucks on weekends like this. There is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez making his way around to the grid for his second race of the weekend. His second race with us this year. He did a pretty standout job, actually, in that first race. He's been dominating the French Championship, but of course making the step up to the European Championship for these races really shows you how high the level is. There was definitely nothing dominant about him in that one, but he was certainly very quick and still really entertaining. He was right up there in a fight with Shane Brereton throughout, and obviously tried his very hardest to get through time and time again, but we all know that it's very difficult to overtake Shane Brereton. The two of them at the line were separated by just over a second after Shane managed to eke out the gap near the final few moments. There's Teo Calve pulling into place in the gorgeous number 20 Bagheera ZM Racing Freightliner. He's got his teammate Adam Lachko directly behind him on the grid. Antonio Albacete joining Adam. Big stop on the brakes there by Stefan Faas. His team member mimicking whatever the truck did just there as he slammed on and came to a stop. Gives Lewis a wave as well. The TV and production guys have got a fantastic relationship with Stefan and the team. They're a really good bunch. There is Jonathan Andre's truck, the number 66 on the left of shot. Andre Kurzin makes his way down the middle of the grid towards pole position. Jochen Hahn there lining up. Our grid girl wasn't sure there whether Jochen was actually going to stop or not. There's Shane Brayton. He makes his way onto the grid and will line up in 10th place for this one. And there Andre Kurzin makes it to the very front row of the grid. Andre, so far in his career within the championship, has 8 race victories, 12 podiums in 172 race starts at 30 years of age. Compared to a number of other drivers on the grid, he's got quite the long way to go in his career, if he would like to continue doing it, that is. There's Norbert Kish, reigning champion, current championship leader, making his way into his grid spot. Starting 7th isn't something he normally does in these second races, but I'm sure that that's going to help him out, of course, having that extra position. Just depends how good a start Sascha Lenz can get when there's trucks in front of them now. Obviously, they don't have the unlimited space before them to do whatever they like. Sascha, if he does get a good start, needs to be careful about the trucks ahead of him. No trucks ahead, though, of Andre Kurzin, and he is down there on the grid with Christina.
Yes, no trucks ahead, and hopefully maybe for him at the end of the race too. There was a delay of kind of 10 minutes. How does that affect your preparation?
I don't know the reason. We are in the pre-crit. Yes, we have to wait. I don't know.
But you've been patient, obviously. There was a Ford truck, that was my information, back on the track again. So, but delay, but right now maybe a clean start with no one ahead of you?
Yes, the weather conditions are very hard. Jochen is behind me, he's maybe in front of me. We have the bad line here. It's a little bit rainy here, and yeah, maybe we will see. I don't know.
Have you watched our live program? Maybe the start from Sascha Lenz would have given a clue for you.
Yes, maybe Sascha did a very good job in the first to start and in the first corner. Maybe we can do it again, and hopefully we can get the podium.
Good luck for that. Thank you very much. Always a good idea, though, watching our live stream.
Oh, of course, but where else would you want to listen to yourself, Christina, to me, and of course to EB as well? It's a wonderful place to be, watching our live streams. Hello, everybody that is currently watching. We hope you're enjoying your weekend, wherever you may be in the world, and whatever time it may be where you are. We hope that you are having a fantastic weekend, and we hope to have you with us for not just the rest of today, but of course tomorrow as well. We have another qualifying session coming up tomorrow. Our show for that one will start roughly around 5 to 11 tomorrow morning. That's local time in Belgium. Then the first show for the first race show, which will be for race 3, will start about 1:15 in the afternoon, and then at about 10 to 4 we will have the final race of the weekend. Very similar to this one, with the fact that we have a reversed grid, the top 8 all being reversed on that one. So we have a few moments now where everybody just prepares for the action to get underway. Trucks and drivers will all be prepped necessarily. They'll just take their time to do their final checks, get everything exactly how they want it. And there is the 10-minute board being put out now, so still quite a bit of a delay compared to what we were expecting here on this final race of the day. But still, if there's something safety related around the circuit that needs to be changed or moved, then that is, of course, of the utmost priority. We'll have to wait and see how long that takes, but we will wait as long as it takes for safety to be adhered to. And I've got word that Christina is down there for another interview for us.
Yes, later on I will be heading to Jose Rodriguez, but I've been talking to Andre Kurzin, as you have heard, and he said something, or we said something about the start from Kish and Lenz, and I thought maybe you want to see that again. Those are the highlights of race 1.
As you see there, very different conditions to what we have right now. We've got a bit of sunshine coming our way at Zolder. First race and qualifying especially, we're taking way in much wetter conditions. But as promised, Christina has made her way down the grid and she's going to have another interview for us.
Yeah, but we're going to take away the net that you can see José Eduardo Rodrigues. Bem-vindo. So he's kind of new to the crew, but just on this race, on the 6th round. So my question was, era um desafio para o homem a máquina, a primeira corrida. So this was very challenging for man and machine this first race.
Yeah, a primeira corrida correu bem. Estamos aqui com o objetivo de rodar e testar para Le Mans, porque nós estamos a disputar o Campeonato de França e eu sou o nosso principal objetivo este ano. E então estamos nesta prova aqui, o importante é rodar e ganhar ritmo para atacar em Le Mans.
So you said, yes, the main objective for this team is to get into the rhythm and get experience on all the tracks. And yes, we talked about it, Chaz, you did as well, how he was competing in the French Championship. That's his main objective. And you won, I remember last time, 4 races in the French Championship, wasn't it? So we noticed it, and we are very glad to see you here in the European Championship. So he is kind of satisfied with his first race. Quais são os objetivos para agora, para essa corrida? What are your objectives for this second race?
Os objetivos para esta corrida passam por andar sempre juntos dos da frente. Vamos ver o que é que vai surgir, mas o principal é testar o carro e testar-me a mim para em Le Mans estarmos preparados para o que vem aí.
Obrigada. So you said right now, yes, I'm trying to be as close as possible to the other opponents. That's the main goal for Mr. Rodrigues, which is very interesting. 3 generations of drivers in one truck. That's the story.
It is indeed. Absolutely awesome stuff. Obrigado indeed, José Eduardo Rodrigues. It's fantastic to have him on the grid this weekend. And as Christina rightly mentioned, there have been multiple generations of their family in our championship. And most notably at Jarama in 2016, all 3 generations were on track at once. What a fantastic time that was to witness. Here is our beautiful Ford F-Max. It is the official truck of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And as I told you earlier on, there was over 5 million kilometres of road testing done to develop this gorgeous machine. Over 500 Ford engineers in a 5-year period as well. 5 million kilometres and 15,500 hours. So if you like the number 5, Ford F-Max is definitely the truck for you. It's considered a very user-friendly truck, and it was a very strong competitor on the market from the get-go. It's a very strong competitor for knocking down that camera on the bottom of that bridge as well, I can tell you that for free. So it's great to have it as part of the series. And it is Ralph Greger at the wheel, really flinging it through the chicane. You can see just how responsive it is. As it goes one way, then the other, manages the weight transfer very well indeed. The 3-minute board has come out on the start-finish line. And there is our Iveco S-Way pace truck just hiding slightly behind the bridge, looking down the start-finish straight there. The grid girls make it off the grid, and so do all of the personnel and all of the media attention to go with it as well. They are shooed away from the grid very quickly by that one marshal there that particularly seems to be eager to wave his arms. Must have skipped leg day. You can see his arm there. Look at it go. I wish the fan in my room was that powerful. There he is. I don't think they all need telling which way to go anymore. I think they've figured it out, but still. There we go. There's one of the Don't Touch Racing members of their team, making their way off the grid as well. I think we're actually trying to hurry things along a little bit now that the inspection lap is done. I think the boards might have been a little bit far out, to be honest with you. A thumbs up for Jochen Hahn by one of the Don't Touch Racing personnel. There is the official truck, the Ford F-Max, making its way in now. You can see the height difference between that and, of course, our racing trucks as well. They're not small machines by any stretch of the imagination, our racing trucks, but they are not as tall as the road-going counterparts that you see day to day. So Jochen Hahn He had a very tough first race of the weekend. Finished 7th overall. He's surely going to be looking for the race win here. On paper, he has a definite advantage over Andrei Kurzin when it comes to pace. But Andrei can defend very hard indeed. The team name may be Don't Touch Racing, but he isn't scared of using anything he can, any means necessary to stop somebody coming through. The 1 minute board goes up in the air. And who's the man that's just become my favourite marshal on the grid, shoos everybody away again. There's Rolf Werner making his way back in behind the pit wall. And it is almost time to go. You can see Norbert Kisch's big red MAN standing out in the middle of the pack there. Keep an eye out for him down the inside when they get to turn 1. 30-second board goes out. And there is the Iveco S-Way ready to shift away from the line in just a moment. And there you go. Frank the Tank leads the field away. Green flag is waved and the formation lap for round 22 of the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship gets underway. There is Rolf Werner making his way back into the pit lane. Let's just rerun through the grid again, shall we? Andrei Kurzin starting on pole position in truck number 11, the white and yellow Iveco. Alongside him will be the number 4, 6-time champion, Jochen Hahn, a man with over 100 race victories to his name and over 600 starts. Behind him, the 2 drivers hoping to take the Promoters' Cup this season, both only separated by a handful of points. Jamie Anderson starting 3rd, Theo Calve starting 4th. Those 2 are going to be definitely a pairing to watch if they get separated by some of the Titan class drivers that are not in the Promoters' Cup. Antonio Albertetti will be starting in 5th with his sparring partner Adam Lachko. Those 2 again seem to just be magnetised towards each other over the course of a race weekend. Norbert Kisch and Sascha Lenz were certainly magnetised towards each other in race 1, finishing 7th and 8th. And those 2 will be starting together on the 4th row of the grid. Behind them, Stefan Fass in the number 24 Tankpool 24 Racing Scania. And alongside him, Shane Brayton in truck number 17, the big purple Apollo tyres TOR Truck Racing MAN. Then we have Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in truck 14, starting in 11th place. He's alongside Steffi Halm, who's going to be starting in 12th. And then on the back row of the grid, we have the Scania of Heinrich Clemens Hecker and the bright yellow MAN, number 66, Jonathan Andre. There is your race 1 winner, Sascha Lenz, kicking the back end out. What a sight that is as they come up over the crest and under the bridge. Epic stuff to see. Making their way down now into the Villeneuve chicane. You can see just how much Frank puts that Iveco through its paces, can't you? He launches it around. He certainly knows what he's doing with it. That is safe to say. Now, while the sun has come out in Belgium, it's actually got more and more gloomy here in the UK, so it seems like when I was getting a little bit gobby earlier on and saying that it's sunny here while it's raining in Belgium, I've been delivered quite the dose of karma, it seems. Anyway, that is all academic now as we get into the second race of the weekend, the 22nd race of the season. We're going to have 32 races over the course of the entire championship. And after this one, we have another 10 left to go. 2 more here at Zolder, which will come tomorrow. 4 more at Le Mans in 2 weeks' time. And then in 3 weeks' time, we'll continue our little tour around Europe and finish the championship at Jarama, just north of Madrid. The incredible Jarama. Look out for Antonio Albertetti to be chasing a home victory there. Here we go then, into the final corner. Frank the Tank in the Iveco S-Way. Look at the speed he's carried into the pit lane. Flipping heck, Frank. He's had a drink. Joking. Don't drink and drive, kids. Anyway, aside from me getting myself kicked off air, It's time to get the second race of the weekend underway. The revs rise, the drivers hold the brakes, they all get ready to go, and the lights go green, and André Kurzim leads us away, but he misses a gear change. Jochen Hahn skips away off the line, goes straight to the inside. Now look out for Norbert Kish. He's going to be on the right-hand side of his shot. He's down the inside of Albacete and Lachko, and he's beaten Sasha Lenz there as well. 3 places gained already for Norbert Kish. Amazed Theo Calve and Jamie Anderson making contact as they go into turn 2. Big lock up by André Kurzim. Norbert Kish around the outside of Antonio Albacete. No mess in there. There's loads of smoke and dust being kicked up by somebody. Is that André Kurzim? Wondering if he's had a little bit of contact and there's some bodywork rubbing. But Jochen Hahn, well, flipping out. My wonderful co-commentator or commentator mentor David Addison would say he was like a stabbed rat, but I need to come up with my own phrase for whatever Jochen Hahn is right now, because he is absolutely disappearing. Oh, Antonio Albacete misses a gear change. There's contact between Norbert Kish and Antonio Albacete. Norby just gives him a tap in the rear, goes later on the brakes down the inside. Let's not forget those two are teammates as they go into the chicane. He's going to go flying over the curb, takes out the penalty marker. Adam Lachko goes with him as well. Wow, oh wow, look at them all just shuffling around and trying to move about as best they can over the crest of the hill. Theo Calve and André Kurzim both carrying damage on their rear bodywork. Antonio Albacete has continued to hold his place ahead of Norbert Kish. Then it's Lachko, Sasha Lenz, Stefan Fast, Shane Brayton, Steffi Halm, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez just behind, and then at the back, Heinrich Clementeca and Jonathan Andre. On board but now with Jamie Anderson, that is Theo Calve, giving us a bit of a wave in the form of his left rear wheel cover. Look out as he exits shot now on the right. Jochen Hahn disappearing as, oh, Jamie's gone very late. Gives Theo a bit of a kiss. He's hit the back of André Kurzim. No mucking about there between these guys at the front. Start was apparently clean. There is no investigation needed as down the inside of Antonio Albacete goes Norbert Kish. How are they going to rearrange themselves as they come back over the hill? This is on board with Jamie Anderson. 3 trucks into that small space won't go. Theo Calve's got to move one way then the other. Don't do it, Jamie. Oh, he tries to get the gap down the inside. Now he's pushing Theo down the start-finish straight. Has to back out of it a little bit early. André Kurzim still on the inside. Jamie wants to go around the outside to then have the inside for the next corner. Somehow Norbert Kish has got ahead of Antonio Albacete in the background. Adam Lachko's in there too, and a massive send by Jamie Anderson into turn 2. Throws it up the inside of Theo Calve. The two of them making more and more contact. You can tell the smoke came from Theo earlier. Oh, he's been pushed out wide there by Jamie. He will not like that one. Norbert Kish is going to take advantage of that as well. It's very, very firm racing from these guys, but all the while, Jochen Hahn is off up the road. He's loving this. You'll see it all going on in his mirrors, and he'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Now, I couldn't see Theo Calve coming through there. Oh, he's there. He's just hidden just behind Norbert Kish. And Jamie Anderson, whoa, Sasha Lenz tries to move out to the left and dive under brakes, clatters into the back of Antonio Albacete. That was a massive hit. It looked like somebody was still around there. The feed that I just had there went a little bit blurry. I thought somebody was around in the chicane. I held my breath. Didn't know whether Antonio had gone around in the mayhem or whether Sasha had gone sideways. There's Jamie into the back of André Kurzim. Now Jamie leads the Promoters' Cup in this race for the moment. 3rd overall as well. I know that Theo will certainly not be happy with the way that he was overtaken. Jamie seemingly just understeered wide, and there was contact which pushed him off to the side of the road. Look at this lot though. Kurzim, Anderson, Kish, Calve, Albacete, Lenz, Lachko, Fast, Brayton, Halm, Rodriguez, Hecker, and then Andre at the back. All of them completely nose to tail. The only one that's not in that is the man himself, Jochen Hahn. He's disappeared off up the road. And that, I believe, is off the back corner of Theo Calve's truck. Now Jamie Anderson has been overtaken by Norbert Kish, so Jamie loses a spot. Norby already up into a podium position after 2 laps. That's pretty impressive. There's 3 wide. Steffi Halm and Shane Brayton either side of Stefan Fast. Shane and Steffi have come together a few times this season. Now Norbert Kish has been given a black and white flag for driving standards. So too has Antonio Albacete. Understandable as well. The two of them were both involved in numerous bits of contact, but Antonio was on the receiving end when Sasha Lenz tried to dive one way then the other. Sasha Lenz just went down the inside of him there into turn 4 at the Lucien Bianchi box. And Sasha Lenz is under investigation for overspeeding. Interesting. We'll have to keep our eye on that one. Andre Kurzim still second. Norbert Kish third. Then it's Jamie Anderson. He's got Theo Calvi right behind him then. Sasha Lenz. And then this bigger train near the back of the field. Look at Jochen Hahn though. He's gone. Absolutely gone. And it's all of the collective number ones on the grid. Number 11, Andre Kurzim ahead of number 1, Norbert Kish. Andre's going to defend so hard. We saw a great battle between those two at Most in 2021. Where Andre inherited the win after the overtaking move by Norbert Kish was deemed a little bit too argy-bargy, to say the least. And there's a 10-second time penalty for Sasha Lenz for overspeeding. He's been found to be exceeding the speed limit of 160 kilometers an hour. Drivers do have a set amount of time where they can bring the truck back under that speed, but if they exceed it by too much, then they will get a penalty, or if they exceed it by too long, they will get a penalty. It looked like Heinrich Clementecker had, let's just say, a moment going into the hairpin there. That may need, he may need a change of overalls after this race. But there is your race leader, Jochen Hahn. What a lovely sight that is for him and everyone at Iveco, and of course his team as well. Now there's Norbert Kish side by side with Andre Kurzim. Kurzim's got to try and give him as much room as possible. Norby's going to carry the speed around the outside. That's going to give him the inside for turn 2. Look at that by Norbert Kish. That is a gorgeous manoeuvre. Manages to slot back in front before turn 2, and that is exactly why Norby is so far gone in terms of the championship lead. Driving and control like that with a truck that's set up as well as his. That is just marvellous stuff. Absolutely marvellous. Now then, can he close that gap down? We'll have to see. It was a very clean overtake by Norbert Kish, but then again, all of our racing is clean because our trucks are powered by 100% renewable HVO diesel. Do you like how I do that? Jamie Anderson's in 4th place then with Theo Calvi right behind. Those two are the leaders in the Promoters' Cup, not just in the championship, but this race as well. There's apparently debris at turn 1, which we may see at some point. And, well, there is the debris at turn 1, being moved away from turn 1 by our wonderful brave Marshall there. Shows you the size of even just the wheel covers on these trucks, doesn't it? Look at the size of it. And hats off to that Marshall. That's a top effort. Nice and quickly recovered. Can't quite figure out whose truck that has come from, I'm afraid. But I'm sure over the course of the race we will see who is missing a rear wheel cover and who has that sort of logo on it. There you go. There's your detective mission for the race if you want to watch and be as eagle-eyed as possible, everybody. Try and figure out whose truck that has come from. I think it's Stefan Faust. Out of the final corner, or out of turn 12 I should say, the entire field negotiates their way. Now let's see what the gap is this time round. Jochen Hahn was leading by 7.29 seconds over Norbert Kish last time they triggered any of the beams. 7.290. 6.6. So Norbert Kish is taking time out of him very quickly. Look how close they're getting to the wall on the outside there as well. The wing mirror of Andre Kurzim was just skimming the wall all the way along. And there's a black and white flag going out to Jamie Anderson for the penalty marker at turn 10. That is the exit of the Villeneuve chicane just before the Terlemenbocht. We're on board with Jamie now, who is 4th overall, looking for another overall podium. He has 4 podiums in his career within the championship, and all of them are race victories. He's chasing down Andre Kurzim, who's trying to hold on to not just that wheel cover, but 3rd place overall and a podium finish as well. As you'll have seen just a moment ago, there was another message that just came up at the top of the screen for a warning, although it's just disappeared off my timing screen, I'm afraid, so I'm going to have to try and get that back if you bear with me. But Norbert Kish is pushing oh so hard now to try and go after Jochen Hahn. The two of them have 9 championships between them in the last 10 years. The other one, the 10th of the last 10 years championships, was won by Adam Lachko in 2017. But Norbert has been pretty unstoppable these past 2 years. And he's not too far away from wrapping up the championship. There is potential that in 2 weeks' time he could wrap up the title at Le Mans with 1 race meeting left to go. And Shane Brayton has been given a 10-second time penalty for overspeeding as well. It was him that was under investigation. So 10 seconds going the way of Sasha Lenz and Shane Brayton, dependent on where they finish now. Well, not dependent on where they finish, so it's going to affect where they finish. So Sasha Lenz needs to work hard to get as far forward as he possibly can now. I'll try and give you the result once they cross the line, and we'll potentially actually see it on the graphics on the left-hand side when it updates where they get moved back to in the pack. There is Heinrich Clemens Hecker in the number 25 Scania. That thing looks great, doesn't it? Wonderful design. Now the gap at the front has come down to 5.7 seconds. And not long ago it was about 1.5 seconds more than that. So Norbert Kish, now he's got clear road in front of him, is flying up to the back of Jochen Hahn. Jochen's not going to let him through easily, that's for sure. Jamie Anderson has to keep his eye on his mirrors as well for Teo Calvé behind. Good run so far by this man, Andrei Kurzim. Truck number 11, the beautiful white and yellow Iveco S-Way for Don't Touch Racing. You can see there's quite an even spread between everybody else that's chasing them down as well. And with the sun coming out more and more here at Zolder, it's getting drier and drier. The drivers can get more confident. Antonio Albertetti is behind Adam Lachko now by about 0.7 seconds as well. He lost that position on the road. Lachko obviously getting involved in some of the battles that are going on as whoa, big drift there by Jonathan Andre. Well, he may not be the fastest man on track, he might be at the back of the field, but he's certainly making it look good on the way through. Fantastic catch there, love that, Jonathan. Nice work. Antonio Albertetti gets a black and white flag for a penalty marker infringement. And here comes Jochen Hahn towards us, still leading the race. And what's the gap now? It's 5.5 seconds. Back to Norbert Kish, 5.1. Norby's really reeling him in, isn't he? There's a bit of a queue forming right now behind Jamie Anderson. There's bodywork flapping around, and it's come off the front of Teo Calvé's truck. Sasha Lenz goes one way, then the other, throws it up the inside. He's got the inside line. There's a bit of an overlap. Teo tries to cut his nose off. Adam Lachko wants to get a cut back down the inside of Sasha Lenz. He's going to be on the outside for turns 2, 3 and 4 though. I think at some point Teo might have maybe tried a move on Jamie Anderson and gone into the back of him. That's where the bodywork has been dislodged as Lachko tries to open the door. Down the inside of Sasha Lenz, a bit of argy-bargy as they go into turn 4. A little bit more contact on the way in, and that's exactly what Sasha does not want. It's the opposite. He needs to be moving forward to make up for the fact he's got this 10-second penalty. Side by side with Lachko once again into the chicane, nearly touching. Oh, and he's managed to cut in front of him before they turn in. Oh, he's had to go straight over the chicane though. I don't think there was room enough for the both of them to go through there. Antonio Albertetti, Steffi Halm and Shane Brayton all watching along with this as well. They want a piece of the pie. Hard onto the brakes into the Villeneuve chicane once more. So close between everybody in the midfield here. We're on the 7th lap of this race, contrary to what the timer in the top left tells you. That's actually how many laps we've completed. Lachko now chasing Sasha Lenz. He's going to maybe try and have a move on the German. You can see the bits of bodywork there from Teo Calvé's truck littering the start-finish straight. Another black and white flag going out as well by the look of it. Plenty of them going out, but it's understandable though. It's a very narrow circuit. The track limits are quite hard to adhere to here. A little bit more so when it's wet, but now it's dry. I think the drivers are just pushing as hard as they can every single lap. They don't need to be as cautious when it comes to just throwing it into a corner. Jochen Hahn still leads this race. The gap 5 seconds back to Norbert Kish. And there is Norby, still pushing, still trying to chase him down. And apparently, number 17, Shane Brayton, I've just had word, is under investigation again for overspeeding. So hopefully for his sake, he's not going to have any further issues with that. But of course, he's not under investigation for no reason. They think he might have just overdone it a little bit. Enough to get the wrath of the stewards. There is Jonathan Andre, still at the back of the field at the moment, but still he's pushing on and he's learning and he's always developing and getting faster, and that's exactly what he wants to do for this season. He's been a very interesting character to have on the grid. And there you go, a drive-through penalty for Shane Brayton. So after what I was saying earlier about having a tough middle part of the season, it seems like that is coming back to haunt him once more. It's a real shame. That 10th place finish in the first race is what he needs for more and more overall championship points, not just in the Promoters' Cup. Now, he was just to the side of Steffi Halm there, right behind Steffi as well. Not sure whether he might have seen that drive-through board or not, because it was at ground level. He'll be informed by radio, though. The teams do have radios to the drivers. We had a fantastic shot of them, actually, at Most last week, where all of the spotters shout go when the lights go green, so the drivers know when to get their foot down. And look at that, Sasha Lenz also under investigation again for overspeeding. Penalties coming thick and fast in this one. Andre Kurzim holding on to third place though, ahead of Jamie Anderson. Heinrich Clemens Hecker also under investigation for overspeeding. Now, Jamie Anderson's an interesting one in this race because he's got Teo Calve right behind him, and that's for the Promoters' Cup lead. But I'm not sure if he's just maybe holding back a little bit from Kurzim. He doesn't want to push too hard and get into a fight at this point, just in case that holds him up and backs him into Teo Calve. Wondering whether he's just trying to keep his distance at the moment and just hold on to that class lead. Now, the gap between Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish last time was 4.4 seconds. What's it going to be this time? Norby was 0.8 of a second quicker last time round. Let's see what it is this time. And he's taken, actually, a bit of time out of him as Jochen Hahn. 1:58.0 for Jochen Hahn. That's his fastest lap of the race. And a 1:58.1 for Norbert Kish. As into the pits comes Shane Brayton. He's going to be fuming with that one. Makes his way through the pit lane, and it's a drive-through penalty, as you can hear the announcer mentioning over the circuit tannoy. And unfortunately, he's been caught out twice by that. He will rejoin the race, though, and continue. As we're on lap 10 out of 12 now, it's going to have to be some demon lap times by this man, Norbert Kish, to chase that man, Jochen Hahn. It's a shame we don't get to see these guys battling more often, to be honest with you, head-to-head on the circuit. We had a few moments of it at Most in the second race of the weekend. But it would be great to see more head-to-head battles involving the pair of them. So there we have Andre Kurzim, Jamie Anderson, Teo Calve, Sasha Lenz, Adam Lachko, Antonio Alberthetti. And a 10-second penalty for Heinrich Clemens Hecker. So more penalties coming back out of the stewards' room here. Boy, they've been busy for this one. And it gets even busier. Sasha Lenz gets a drive-through penalty, so forget the 10-second penalty. That has been amplified into a drive-through penalty for the race one winner this weekend. Any points he's just gained back on Norbert Kish are going to go flying out the window now. And that really helps Norbert in the championship. He's going to lose 1 point to Jochen Hahn, but Jochen will importantly move back into second in the championship. after this one. That's if he continues on and wins it. On to lap 11 now out of 12. Gap is down to 4.3 seconds. Norby was only 2.5 tenths quicker than Jochen on that lap. So he's not quite able to match the pace of the German at the front. It's been a while actually since we saw Jochen win a race. Although I say that, you know, it was the Nürburgring. It was the third race of the weekend. One of only 2 occasions where Norbert hasn't won the first race of the day. It's a statistic that I'm bringing up probably way too often now, but it's the only time where it's applicable, really, because we've seen drivers that have stopped him doing so. There's this fantastic group in the middle of the pack, still all nose to tail. Kurzim ahead of Anderson, then Calvé. He doesn't have to worry so much about Sascha Lenz anymore. Then we've got Adam Lachko, Antonio Albertetti, Steffi Hallman, Stefan Faas rounding out your top 10, and of course rounding out the points finishers overall. Now you can expect to see Sascha Lenz come into the pits on this lap. And Heinrich Clemens Hecker is under investigation again for overspeeding. Not sure what's gone on this afternoon, but clearly something is affecting certain drivers, and maybe their trucks aren't calibrated properly or something, or some of the tech that they've got in there is not calibrated properly, because some of them are overspeeding time and time again. And it just happens to be repeat offenders as well. Now, I was going to say the gap between Norbert Kish in second place and Andre Kurzim in third is beginning to be, well, massive, even more massive. 19.7 seconds at the moment between Norbert Kish. Sorry, 19.7. I did get that right. There you go. 3.4 seconds now between Hahn and Kish. So Norbert's starting to close in a little bit more and more as into the pits comes Sascha Lenz. He's going to be fuming after winning the first race of the weekend. That promotes Adam Lachko up into 6th, Albertetti up into 7th, Steffi Halm 8th, Stefan Faas 9th. And Jose Eduardo Rodriguez into the top 10. Whoa, my goodness me. That is a scary, scary moment to have right there. Wow. Well, that's knocked me for 6. Thankfully, that member of the Don't Touch Racing team is okay, or we could have just seen a very nasty moment that doesn't even bear thinking about. Deary me. Oh, my stomach's gone after that. Jochen Hahn still leads this race, though, on the final lap from Norbert Kish. Norby's still reeling him in that little bit, but not enough, and it looks like Theo Calvé has seen Jamie Anderson now not really pulling away in front of him, and he's giving it one last go on this final lap. And look, he's actually, I think he might have given him a bit of a tap there into the chicane. There was definitely contact of sorts. Jamie's truck moved a lot. Into the final couple of corners, though, there's going to be one almighty battle between the two. Teo's hit the side of him, and again he bounces off the side, goes straight on at the hairpin. They've both gone straight on. Oh, the red mist has descended, and it's gone a little bit too intense. Jochen Hahn wins. Norbert Kish finishes in second place for the second time today. But there is going to be a big old argument about that one. You could argue that Teo was pushing a bit too hard into the first chicane, and he's gone into the back of Jamie. And look at this, Andre Kurzim. Well, he's going to score an overall podium at Zolder, and he's very happy about it. Adam Lachko is going to finish in 4th place. 5th place is going to go the way of Antonio Albertetti. Then it's going to be Steffi Hallman. Stefan Faas is going to take the win in the Promoters' Cup. Behind him is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, who's going to get a Promoters' Cup podium. Then it is Jamie Anderson, and then Theo Calvé, who manages to make it to the flag. But wow, it all came a little bit unravelled there right near the end, didn't it? We nearly had that scary moment in the pit lane, and I imagine now Theo and Jamie are going to give each other a bit of a gesture out of their necessary windows, which isn't what we want to see. I was talking about the respect earlier, but I'm not sure what went on there. We'd have to take a good look back at that. Just seemed like into the Villeneuve chicane. It looked like Teo just went into the back of Jamie. And then after that, the red mist certainly descended, and then there was more and more contact. Adam Lachko seemed to get involved in it as well. You can see a little bit of bodywork damage on his truck. There's Andrei Kurzim lighting up the rears, doing some wonderful drifting. That's Andrei's 13th career podium in his 173rd start. And he'll be very happy about that one. And what a podium as well to share with Jochen Hahn and Norbert Kish. Jochen Hahn takes his 116th race win in his 636th start. Yes, 636th start. And the drivers that receive drive-through penalties, Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Shane Brereton and Sasha Lenz, they will be very disappointed in what went on there. And as you see, understandably, the incident that we witnessed down at turn 12 has been reported to the stewards. You can see there just where Teo Calve went straight on, and he then obviously went to the escape road that sweeps around and then got back on the circuit very quickly, actually, because he didn't lose much time at all to Jamie. And he finished just behind him on the road, but they were 9th and 10th respectively, only 0.4 of a second apart. Well, it was still an exciting one, wasn't it? We hope you enjoyed that. We still have, of course, the reaction from some of the drivers to come and the podium presentations in just a few minutes. But that was a very dramatic end to the day's racing here at Zolder. And there is your race winner for the first time in what feels like a long time, actually. Jochen Hahn taking win number 116. Andrei Kurzim makes it 2 Ivecos on the podium. And Norbert Kish finishing in second place outright for more strong championship points. This is our Lewis eye view through the personnel. And Jochen will emerge any moment now. Andrei Kurzim will certainly be happy with that one. You can see him just getting out there. I love that camera angle. That's fantastic. A thumbs up from one of the Bagheera team members. And Jochen Hahn will make his way out. Wow, Norbert Kish only just cleared his truck with that door there, didn't he? Oh, the things you notice. Big congratulations to Andrei Kurzim. Well done indeed. 3rd place. Fantastic job. Jochen steps out. A race winner once again. Many, many race wins for him and his team. Great job. Absolutely great job by Jochen. Puts him back into 2nd place in the championship. And the points all will mean a hell of a lot. Oh, that guy just got absolutely done there. He got left behind for a handshake. Handshakes for Don't Touch Racing as well, and Andrei Kurzim from Jochen Hahn. He has a quick word with Andrei Kurzim as well. I think he's saying, what happened on the start? Like, how come I got past you so easily? I think he'll just be saying, I missed a gear or something. Because that's what it looked like, wasn't it? Or didn't it? Looked like he just missed a gear. Didn't quite have the launch that Jochen did. Oh, hey, he gets his handshake in the end. And as we see there, Christina is down there for an interview with Jochen. He just walks over to say well done to Norbert and his team of Reveche Racing. Handshakes all round. Great respect once more. And we will now get the reaction from a race winner for the 116th time. That is 270th podium, Jochen Hahn.
Yes, absolutely. Race winner today. We're standing here. Norbert Kish's truck is still on, but I hope we can hear each other well. What did you say to Andrei Kurzim? Like, what happened on the start, or what did you tell him?
Nah, this is a secret. This I cannot tell. No, we speak not about the start before the start. So But now I tell him, I think I see it what you want to do, and I have the better start, so I'm happy.
And absolutely, and after that he was backing up for you, so maybe helping you a bit out. Norbert Kisch, he had wonderful times, but you drove better.
Yeah, in the end he's 8 laps before the end, 6.9 seconds behind me, and then it's the time to push. And in the end, the last lap I a little bit safety, but in the end I can hold the gap. Not really, but I hold it, and from this side we are absolutely happy with the day now.
You did a good math, because in round 7 it was, as you said, 5.07 seconds, and then you backed up a bit. So how happy are you? You told us you were not happy after race 1 with this weekend so far, but this is you cheering up.
Yeah, but can you say not happy? Yes, I am absolutely not happy after this after the first race, but we have not a good time practice, and in the race we make some mistakes. I'm also, and then you must accept the position and think about the day it's finished. When the last race on the day it's done. So now it's the race done, we win it. So all is good, and we look for tomorrow. Tomorrow it's nice weather, and from this side we are strong enough tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. Up to the podium. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll have a look to the team. If you might follow me, Mike, over there. And let's talk to Norbert Kisch. He's still in an interview. But we will be right now heading to Norbert Kisch. But one word with Sven Walter. Because, Sven, just one word. We saw you jumping over the fence. We are so glad to see you smiling. My gosh, my heart stopped.
Mein Herz hat auch gestoppt. Ich war irgendwie in Gedanken gewesen, war ein scheiß Fehler gewesen, sorry, aber...
Good to see you. Thank you very much. So he said, yeah, that was my mistake. I just went off, my mind went off just a couple of seconds. So we need to get going right now. Our minds not to be off. I need to check whether Norbert Kisch is heading to, yes, of course, to the podium. So we are going to speak to him later. And then right now we do see the ceremony after race number 2.
Yes, indeed. Very busy paddock, and of course a very busy pit lane. There is no time for your mind to go to sleep when you're in the pit lane. But luckily, he's fine. Sasha's fine. It is all good. It's just a very scary situation as well. There is your final result then. Jochen Hahn takes the win. Norbert Kisch finishing just under 2 seconds back. And then 21 and a bit more seconds to Andrei Kurzim. Then we have Adam Lachko in 4th. Antonio Alberthetti 5th. Steffi Halm recovers up to 6th place. A great race for Steffi. Stefan Faas wins the Promoters' Cup in this race in 7th, ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, getting a Promoters' Cup podium. Jamie Anderson will also be on said podium with them. Theo Calve still manages to finish inside the top 10, but their incident will go under investigation. Shane Brereton was 11th after a drive-through. Jonathan Andre promoted to 12th, with Sasha Lenz and Heinrich Clemens-Hecker rounding out your field. And we're going to go straight back down to Christina, who has another interview for us.
Yes, Jamie Anderson. Oh, wow, what a bumpy race it was for everyone. How did you see the situation with Theo Calve in the 3rd chicane?
Yeah, definitely. To say it was unfair was probably the way it is, but we all know this in the paddock, that there's a certain team that never get punished for their actions, and I suppose this is the way it goes. We try and drive fair, and when you get put up against that, you know, what more can you do? As soon as anything happens to him, he cries like a baby to his dad. So I think for us, we smile about it and we go, if this is the way they want to race and this is the way the championship is, and they let them get away with it, then fine. You know, last corner was a prime example of what happens. You know, the race was over so fast. As soon as Adam hit me and I missed my braking point, you know, we couldn't do anything about it, and we're just a passenger. And then Theo tries turning in, and you know, it's not the way to race, but this is the way they race.
Yeah, I didn't see him crying right now like a baby, but I know what you're thinking of. But do you sharpen your elbows as well sometimes? Because in Most, you've been kind of hitting out your competitors as well.
I'd say not in a fashion, no. I think that our way that we had the contact in Most was pretty fair. You know, we was on the inside. We had a bit of understeer. Lucas turned in on us. It was general contact in racing, but that isn't rubbing his racing. You know, that was a very much different, brutal move. And hey, that's the way we can all do, and we can put our elbows out, but it's not good for the championship.
Do you looking for a personal conversation today, or do you need to steam off a bit before that?
No, definitely not. I've already steamed off, and it's like a pinch of salt. This is the way it goes, and hopefully upstairs they'll look at it and do something about it.
Maybe, but that's not our job. Thank you very much, Jamie Anderson.
Thank you.
So that's the job, of course, of the FIA. And Norbert Kisch is also here. And of course, everything will be under investigation as always. But of course, from the driver's perspective, yes, of course, as I said, sometimes a bit of steam. But not with Norbert Kisch. Second place. What a race after Jochen Hahn. We were doing the math and thinking, how would you do the math? Like, okay, I'm 7 seconds past him in lap 7. So how did you try to get to the lead?
Well, it wasn't so easy, you know, because I started from 7th. So the first lap was really tough, a little bit too tough for my taste, you know. But I made it through, and then could do some good outbraking maneuvers and overtaking maneuvers, like on the outside in the first turn against Andre, which is already started here at the last turn because he had a bad exit, so I could go on the outside of him. So yeah, you know, it was good. And then I see Johan was really far away, so I was not really thinking I could catch it. But you know, I was doing my pace, you know, that I feel safe and confident with. Sometimes, of course, I made a little bit of a mistake here and there, but didn't lose much time. So, you know, I was almost there, you know, like I think maybe 2 more laps or 3 more laps, and we got it. But, you know, it's still a good race, you know, and starting from 7th, ending up 2nd, it's really nice.
And he's almost there, onto the podium.
Yes, indeed. Podium presentation gets underway then, and the drivers will make their way up. Strong words from Jamie Anderson, though, but you can understand the frustration, and I can imagine it's the same frustration on both sides as well. You know, Teo trying very hard to get through. He may have felt that it was a robust defence by Jamie, and Jamie will have felt that he was pushed out of the way as well. So as Jamie said himself, the guys upstairs, the guys and girls upstairs, of course, will do their work, the stewards and all of the officials, and a decision will be made on that one. And hopefully the red mist will completely die down by the time we get back to tomorrow and our next qualifying session and 2 races. The racing may be over for today, but the entire process is not. We're going to get drivers up now onto the podium. We're going to have our overall top 3, which starts us off with Andre Kurzim finishing in 3rd place, an overall podium, his 13th of his career. Norbert Kisch gets his 76th podium. And, sorry, that's not his 76th podium. I was thinking of race wins for Norbert Kisch. I've properly mucked this one up. Either way, it's Jochen Hahn takes the win. That's win number 116 for Jochen. And what a fantastic job the German superstar has done once again. They'll get the trophies handed up to them in just a moment. And Andre Kurzim will certainly be happy about this one. Great to see him back up there on the podium for Don't Touch Racing.
Zolder, and for race winner, Lucia Gallucci, Racing Organization Manager and FIA Vice President.
And there you go, Norbert Kisch, 2nd place trophy. Jochen Hahn gets the race winners trophy. And all 3 of them have big smiles on their faces. And there we go, the German national anthem. And now we're going to get some pictures with our top 3 drivers.
You can go all together on the first step. Well done.
And then they're going to change the caps, as is tradition now in the championship.
You can switch caps if you want. For the last pictures. And now for the
and there we go.
top 3 time for the secret Zolder.
And it's time for some champagne. Now let's see who gets drenched. I'm sure Andre Curzon is going to love the chance to get some champagne open. And he's going to go for Jochen, surely. Lovely stuff. Jochen's going to soak Norby. They're both going to soak Norby. And there you go. They trade blows, effectively. He's saying, get him. He's saying, get the Hungarian one, not me. I'm your countryman. Great stuff. Jochen Hahn will love the taste of that race winner's champagne. And here is a quick look at the championship standings based on the results we've seen. Jochen Hahn moves back up into second place, but Norbert Kish now has 70 points as an advantage over everybody else. Sascha Lenz on 204 points in third. He's still within touching distance of getting second place in the championship. We'll just have to wait and see how it goes over the rest of this race meeting before we fix our eyes on Le Mans and Jarama. Adam Lachko fourth ahead of Antonio Alberthetti. Steffi Halm hits 100 points and is now only 5 points clear of Jamie Anderson in seventh. Andre Curzon is now eighth. He is 4 points clear of Teo Calve, and Lucas Hahn still rounds out the top 10 on 38. He's 7 points clear of Shane Brayton, with Stefan Faas in 12th. Jose Rodriguez is 13th ahead of Anthony Janiak, of course, still on there as a mark of respect. René Reiner and Martin Gibson, after sharing the number 77 truck, have 11 and 5 points respectively. Heinrich Clemens Hecker on 5 points as well, with Thomas Robineau the last of our point scorers so far this year. Now it's time to have a look at the Promoters Cup podium. We're going to get our top three finishers in this category up as well. Teo Calve still leads that championship from Jamie Anderson, 12 points the difference, with Shane Brayton in third. Jamie Anderson goes up for third place. A first Promoters Cup podium for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Great to see him up there on his debut in the championship. And Stefan Faas takes a win in the Promoters Cup. That's going to go down really well with everybody here. That's actually his first Promoters Cup win this season. Very well done to Stefan. And after the nightmare that was Most, he really deserves that one. Jamie Anderson gets more silverware for what's been a very successful campaign so far this year. Then we have Jose Eduardo Rodriguez getting his second place trophy, and Stefan Faas winning the Promoters Cup in race 2 here at Zolder.
Well done. Zur Ehre der Gewinner, die deutsche Nationalhymne. Thank you for our top three in Promoters.
There we go, the top three in the Promoters Cup. Well done indeed. I'm sure Jamie will be relieved to have still got a podium after the antics on the final lap. We'll have to wait and see how that all pans out as well in the stewards' room. It's a shame to see that the action has to be taken, but at the end of the day, racing has to be kept fair and obviously well stewarded as well. And here we go then, champagne time. Who's going to open this one quickly? What's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez like with a champagne bottle? Let's have a look, shall we? Seems like he's going to get there first. He is indeed. Are they going to soak each other? They need to get Stefan, don't they? No, they're keeping it nice and civil, not spraying one another, just enjoying the moment. Having a good swig as well. And their day's work is done. Of course, the teams and drivers will all now prepare for another day's racing tomorrow, where we have another qualifying session and 2 more races to come your way. Our first show tomorrow is going to start at about 5 to 11 in the morning for qualifying. There is your Promoters Cup standings again. Teo Calve. 248 points for Teo, 236 for Jamie Anderson. Shane Brayton now makes over 200 points in the campaign, with Stefan Faas in 4th position, getting a little bit further clear of Jose Rodriguez, not the Jose Rodriguez we just saw on the podium. Heinrich Clemens Hecker on 102 points is 6th, ahead of Lucas Hahn, and then Martin Gibson, Thomas Robineau and Louis Riquenco, all separated by just 1 point in 8th, 9th and 10th. Behind them, we have Jonathan Andre, who's now up to 23 points and continuing to move forward in the standings. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez gets 17 points to his name already, ahead of Emma Mäkinen, Stefan Kirsch, and Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort. Seems very fitting that truck number 15 is in position number 15. And in position down there in the paddock is Christina. Have you got an interview for us, Christina?
Yes, I do. Parabéns. Congratulations. You've been on the podium. Who do you going to call first? Quem vai chamar primeiro da família?
Essa foi uma boa prova. Consegui pódio. E é para honrar o nome da família, a família Rodrigues. E é isso que eu quero continuar a fazer.
So you said, yes, that was a victory for all of the family. Of course, we've been talking about the 3 generations of race truck drivers. So he's very happy with that. What do you say about the camaraderie? Que estás a dizer sobre a família deste campeonato europeu? E, claro, outros condutores com quem estava a falar.
Sim, este é um campeonato muito duro. Já tinha participado no Campeonato da Europa. É sempre bom voltar e ter sempre bons resultados. Principalmente aqui no Campeonato da Europa, que é um campeonato muito duro e é bom para nós, para nos adaptarmos e se calhar para o ano poder voltar a tempo inteiro.
E pessoalmente, a gente que está aqui está a falar com vocês, está a comunicar bem, porque como hashtag One Truck Family?
Sim, nós temos boa comunicação, entendemos-nos bem e principalmente estamos a divertir todos, isso é o mais importante.
Okay, obrigada. So you said, yes, we were having fun, of course, competing in this Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And he said we've got a good communication with all the other drivers. And of course, he's trying to make some new experiences. Be careful, lots of going on right now here. The teams are trying to get to the paddock, of course. And so, yes, he is very happy competing in this championship. Let's have a look if Stefan Faas is free for us for an interview, directly live. Hello, he is. Absolutely. So, second time on the podium. Not too bad?
Not too bad. Nein, perfekt. Jetzt kam das Karma zurück, was in Most mir die ganze Zeit auf der Schultern gelegen ist. Und ich bin echt froh, dass wir das jetzt so gerockt haben. Hey, richtig gut. War ein schönes Rennen.
He gained his karma back, he says, after, of course, this bad timing in Moss. And he said, yeah, it was so relieving for him. Like right now, all the weight from his shoulders is gone. Jochen Hahn is always very tricky if he's passing by. So what do you say about this weekend? Different conditions? Also es waren ja ganz unterschiedliche Konditionen, die ihr hattet, ne?
Ja, also man hat es gemerkt jetzt im Rennen, die Curbs waren alle noch nass. Und mir durfte halt einfach die Curbs nicht berühren. Wenn einer rausgekommen ist, hat er sofort auf die Geraden das Speed nicht mitgenommen und da konnte man wieder ranfahren. Ja, das hat es einfach, sage ich jetzt mal, interessant gemacht. Ja, also es war meinerseits aus ein faires Rennen, war ein paar Fights dabei, ja okay, aber so im Großen und Ganzen bin ich für den heutigen Tag richtig zufrieden und das nehme ich jetzt, das Positive nehme ich mit ins morgige in den morgigen Terminkalender oder in den Ablauf einfach und mal gespannt, wie es wird. Hoffentlich gut.
Klingt gut, Dankeschön.
Bitte.
So you said, yeah, it was tricky. We could not touch the curbs because they were already still wet, of course. There were so many different conditions, a lot of rain, as you remember, in the qualifying. And so he saw that the other trucks touching the curbs were really slightly drifting. So that he was driving very with high level of concentration. And as you can see in his face, he was so relieved and so happy with his day. And he says, yeah, we're going to take all the energy from today and putting it into the effort for tomorrow. Sundays, there are lots of races ahead of us, of course, the qualifying with the Super Pole and then the race number 3 and race number 4, and Stefan Faas trying to compete and trying to get to the podium on Sunday as well. So we are looking really forward to all the action taking place. And he said, I drove a fair race, but he saw some incident also, and he said, yeah, of course, it is a tough competition. And what competition that was, we are going to see right now. Our highlights from race number 2. So we heard a lot of interviews. What a race. This was race number 2 on Saturday, and it was just the Saturday, round 6 at the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Please do not forget to give us a like on our social media channels. Barbara is doing a good work over there in providing you with lots of information. So next race will be taking place tomorrow, of course, but we do start, of course, with the qualification and then the Super Pole in the morning. Kind of the same schedule, or as Stefan Faas was pointing out, the calendar is already set. So please tune in, inform yourself, please, about all the times, because we got 3 times tomorrow morning. And please, this is the stop and go area for us, and since I stop here, I need to go right now, because it's really have fun with you. Thanks for watching us, thanks for tuning in our live programs. Please tell your friends. As soon as I tell my friends there's some truck racing going on, they're like, what? And then they do see our program and they're a fan of us. So please tell your friends, and please tune in tomorrow on Sunday. So we leave you with some beauty shots of today, and with a beautiful sun. Maybe it's raining right now in Britain, as Chas Dracut, our commentator, is remotely commentating from home. And saluted to Joachim Eberts, of course, you're doing a great job. Thanks to all of our team right now. So stop and go it is for me right now. Bye-bye. See you then.